The next time you see car prices jump overnight or dealerships sitting half empty, don't blame the automakers first. Look at what's happening in the world. Because wars don't just stay on the front lines, they ripple through economies, industries, and eventually your driveway. From the cars you can afford, to the features inside them, to whether you can even get one at all, global conflict plays a much bigger role than most people realize. And once you understand how it all connects, you'll never look at the auto market the same way again. So before you buy your next car, or even think about upgrading, you need to see this. And if you want more breakdowns like this that actually help you stay ahead, hit subscribe, because this is the kind of information most people only understand after it's too late. Now let's get into it. The United States automobile market is often seen as a reflection of innovation. New models, better technology, improved performance. That's what people usually focus on. But behind the scenes, there's a completely different force shaping everything. Global instability, and more specifically war. Because every time a major conflict happens, it doesn't just affect the countries involved. It disrupts trade routes. It changes energy supply. It shifts political priorities. And all of that flows directly into the auto industry. To understand how powerful this effect really is, we need to go back to where it all began. During World War II, the U.S. auto industry underwent one of the most dramatic transformations in its history. In early 1942, the government effectively ordered automobile manufacturers to stop producing civilian vehicles. This wasn't optional. Factories that once built cars for everyday people were converted almost entirely into military production facilities. Ford, General Motors, Chrysler. All of them shifted their focus. Instead of sedans and coupes, they started producing tanks, aircraft engines, armored vehicles, and military transport systems. Ford's Willow Run plant became famous for producing B-24 bombers at an unprecedented scale. General Motors became one of the largest suppliers of military equipment. Chrysler was heavily involved in tank production. For the average American consumer, this meant one thing: no new cars. For several years, people had to rely on maintaining and repairing the vehicles they already owned. The entire concept of consumer automobile production was paused. But when the war ended in 1945, the situation changed rapidly. The United States emerged with enormous industrial strength. Factories were modernized. Production techniques had improved dramatically, and the workforce had gained experience in operating at massive scale under pressure. When civilian production resumed, it didn't just return, it surged. The late 1940s and 1950s became a golden era for the American auto industry. Car ownership increased significantly. New designs, new features, and better performance became standard. Highways expanded, suburbs grew, and cars became deeply embedded in American culture. But here's the key point. This growth wasn't separate from the war. It was a direct result of it. War forced innovation, efficiency, and scale. And those advantages carried into the consumer market. Now fast forward to the 1970s, and we see a very different kind of impact. This time, the disruption came through energy. The 1973 oil crisis, influenced by geopolitical tensions in the Middle East and the OPEC oil embargo, had a massive effect on the United States. Oil exports were restricted, prices increased sharply, and gasoline suddenly became both expensive and, in some cases, difficult to obtain. Before this crisis, American cars were known for their size and power. Large V8 engines were common. Fuel efficiency was not a major concern because gasoline was relatively cheap. But almost overnight, consumer priorities shifted. Long lines formed at gas stations. In some areas, fuel purchases were rationed. Driving large, fuel-hungry vehicles became impractical for many people. This forced a major change in demand. Consumers started looking for smaller, more efficient cars. And this opened the door for foreign automakers. Japanese companies like Toyota, Honda, and Nissan had already been producing compact, fuel-efficient vehicles. When they expanded into the US market during this period, they offered exactly what consumers needed. Their cars were reliable, efficient, and affordable to operate. As a result, their market share grew rapidly. This was one of the most important turning points in the US auto market, because it wasn't just about a temporary shift. It permanently changed consumer expectations. fuel efficiency became a key consideration, and foreign brands established a strong presence that continues to this day. Now moving into the modern era, the impact of war has become even more complex and far-reaching. Today's vehicles are no longer simple mechanical machines. They are highly advanced systems that depend on a wide range of technologies and materials. Modern cars require semiconductors to operate everything from engine systems to safety features. They use rare earth elements in electric motors. They rely on lithium, cobalt, and nickel for battery production, and these materials are sourced globally. This means that when conflict occurs, the effects can be immediate and widespread. A recent example is the Russia-Ukraine conflict, which has had ongoing economic impacts throughout the mid-2020s. Ukraine has been a major supplier of neon gas, which is essential for semiconductor manufacturing. Russia is a key producer of nickel and palladium, both of which are important for automotive production and catalytic converters. When these supplies were disrupted, it created bottlenecks in the production process. At the same time, the automotive industry was already dealing with a semiconductor shortage that began during the COVID-19 pandemic. Demand for electronics had surged, and chip manufacturers prioritized other industries. When war added further pressure, the shortage became even more severe. Automakers were forced to slow down production. Some vehicles were shipped without certain features because chips were unavailable. Dealership inventories dropped significantly. Consumers faced long wait times, sometimes several months or more. And in many cases, they had to pay above the manufacturer's suggested retail price to secure a vehicle. The used car market also experienced unusual conditions. With fewer new cars available, demand for used vehicles increased. Prices rose sharply. At one point, used car prices were approaching, and in some cases exceeding, the cost of new cars. This highlighted how sensitive the market is to supply disruptions. Even a small imbalance can lead to significant price changes. Another major factor influenced by war is energy. Oil markets are highly sensitive to geopolitical events. Conflicts in oil-producing regions can lead to supply uncertainty, which drives prices higher. When fuel prices rise, it directly affects consumer behavior. People start to prioritize fuel efficiency. They may delay purchasing larger vehicles. They may consider alternative options. And this brings us to one of the most significant shifts in the auto industry today: the rise of electric vehicles. Electric vehicles are often discussed in the context of environmental concerns. But there's another important factor driving their adoption: energy security. For countries like the United States, reducing dependence on imported oil is a strategic priority. War and geopolitical instability highlight the risks associated with relying on external energy sources. Electric vehicles offer a way to reduce that dependence. By shifting toward electricity, which can be generated domestically through various sources, countries gain more control over their energy supply. This is why governments have been actively supporting EV adoption. In the United States, policies have included tax credits for EV purchases, funding for charging infrastructure, and incentives for domestic battery production. Automakers have responded by investing heavily in EV technology. Companies like Tesla have expanded production capacity. Traditional manufacturers such as Ford and General Motors have announced plans to transition large portions of their lineups to electric. Battery manufacturing facilities are being built across the country, and new supply chains are being developed to support this transition. However, it's important to note that EV production also depends on global resources. Lithium, cobalt, and rare earth elements are not evenly distributed. Some of these materials come from regions that are politically unstable. So while EVs reduce dependence on oil, they introduce new supply chain challenges. And this is where the impact of global conflict continues. Another major response to these challenges is the restructuring of supply chains. For many years, the automotive industry focused on efficiency and cost reduction. This led to highly globalized supply chains. Components were sourced from different countries to minimize costs. But this approach created vulnerabilities. When one part of the chain is disrupted, the entire system can be affected. War exposed these weaknesses. In response, companies are now focusing on resilience. This includes diversifying suppliers, increasing inventory levels, and bringing production closer to home. In the United States, there has been a clear trend toward reshoring. New manufacturing plants are being built domestically. Battery production is being localized. And partnerships are being formed to secure local sources of critical materials. Government policies have supported this shift by providing incentives for domestic production. The goal is to create a more stable and secure supply chain, one that is less vulnerable to global disruptions. Now let's talk about consumer behavior. Because during times of uncertainty, people change the way they spend. They become more cautious. They prioritize value, and they think more carefully about major purchases. In the auto market, this often leads to increased demand for practical vehicles. Fuel efficiency becomes more important. Reliability becomes a key factor. Total cost of ownership is considered more carefully. Hybrid vehicles have gained popularity because they offer a balance between fuel efficiency and convenience. At the same time, interest in smaller and mid-size vehicles tends to increase. Luxury vehicle sales may slow down, depending on economic conditions. Alternative ownership models have also grown. Leasing allows consumers to access newer vehicles without long-term commitment. Subscription services offer flexibility. Short-term usage models are becoming more common in urban areas. All of these trends reflect a shift in mindset. Consumers are adapting to uncertainty, just like manufacturers are. Now, looking ahead, the future of the U.S. automobile market will likely continue to be influenced by global events. If geopolitical tensions remain high, we can expect continued pressure on supply chains. Prices may remain elevated. Production timelines could stay unpredictable. At the same time, the transition to electric vehicles is likely to continue. Investment in domestic manufacturing will expand, and new technologies may emerge as companies look for ways to reduce dependence on vulnerable resources. Autonomous driving, advanced software systems, and connected vehicle technology are also areas of growth. These innovations add another layer of complexity because they increase the reliance on technology and data infrastructure, which can also be affected by global events. So when you look at the U.S. automobile market today, what you're really seeing is a system that is constantly adapting, responding to changes, adjusting to new realities, and evolving over time. But at the center of many of these changes is one consistent factor: global conflict. Because war doesn't just change borders. It changes economies, it changes industries, and it changes the products people rely on every day, including cars. So the next time you hear about rising car prices, or long wait times, or a sudden shift toward electric vehicles, remember that these changes don't happen in isolation. They are part of a larger global picture. And understanding that picture can help you make better decisions, whether it's choosing when to buy, what to buy, or how long to wait. Because in a market shaped by uncertainty, information becomes one of your most valuable tools. If you found this useful, subscribe. Because we focus on real-world insights that actually affect your money, your decisions, and your future. And understanding these patterns might just give you the edge most people don't have.